What's up, people? Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance is releasing in about a week, and I'm really excited about it. I played the original on Switch a couple years ago, but I never finished it. But with all the new added content and quality of life improvements, this seemed like the perfect place to jump back in. But unlike me, maybe you don't know much about the game or why you should care about it. Well, don't you worry, I'm here to help with that. But real quick, for all the people new to the channel, I make videos on single player games and I mostly focus on RPGs. If that type of content interests you and you end up enjoying this video, consider subscribing or just hitting the like button to help spread this video around. Now, with all that out of the way, here are the top 5 reasons you should be excited for Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. The first reason to be excited for Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance is the difficulty. This is more for people who haven't played or aren't familiar with the Shin Megami Tensei games. What a lot of fans, including myself, like about SMT games is that it takes the monster catching taming games like Pokemon and adds Dark Souls level difficulty to it. Being someone who's grown up playing Pokemon and is still a big fan of the franchise, one of my many issues with Pokemon is the lack of difficulty options. I'm not saying make the game harder for everyone, but just add different levels for people who may want more of a challenge. Thankfully, SMT5 does that and it does it very well. While playing on the harder difficulties, focusing on weaknesses and obtaining stronger demons are almost essential to progressing through the game. I've heard numerous people getting stuck on certain bosses and having to grind or go get certain moves for their demons in order to defeat it. To a lot of people that sounds amazing, but to anyone who that might turn away, there are multiple difficulties to choose from if you want an easier experience or just want to enjoy the story. Either way, if you're like me and always wanted a Dark Souls Pokemon game, SMT5 Vengeance is the perfect game for you. Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance is adding a lot of new content to the game, which for people who played the original is one of the things you should definitely be looking forward to. Some of the content that Atlus has been talking about the most when it comes to this new version is a new story route called Canon of Vengeance. This new route follows the scenario of the original Canon of Creation, but it will have significant changes later on in the story. This new story also provides a new character, dungeon, and location to explore, plus the ability to have human companions fight alongside you. There's also going to be a new boss rush challenge for people who are a fan of this game's high difficulty, like I talked about earlier. And while technically not new, the previous DLC, including Return of the True Demon, A Goddess in Training, The Rage of a Queen, and The Doctor's Last Wish, will all be added at no extra cost. There's a lot more content that was added specifically involving demons, so I'll save that for its own section. For people who haven't played the vanilla SMT5, it's obviously a no-brainer to buy this one. And while I still think it's worth it for people who did play a lot of the original and all of its DLC, maybe wait for a sale instead. While the new content added is what's going to draw the most attention, almost equally impressive is how many quality of life features were made with Vengeance. I'm not going to name all of them because that would add like 15 minutes to this video, but I'll go through some of the ones that stood out to me the most. There's a new auto mode called Auto Skill, which is different than the old auto attack from the first game. Auto Skill allows players to let the game fight for you, but will now focus more on exploiting weaknesses instead of just physical attacks. You can also save anywhere you want now, and for me that's a big deal. As someone who plays a lot of RPGs, a pet peeve of mine is when games make you have to go to a certain area in order to save. You can now fast travel with the addition of the Magatsu rails, and there's also a new item that will allow you to reset the stats of the protagonist. Some of the other notable features includes a level cap unlock, increased speed settings for skill cutscenes, a new sky view for exploring, and an increased amount of demon navigators, alongside them having a new highlight effect to make it easier to find hidden treasures. Like I said, there's a lot more quality of life improvements that was made with this game, which I'm sure a lot of fans of the original game will greatly appreciate. Next, let's talk about the most important aspect of the game, which are the demons. Vengeance will be adding 40 new demons to the game, which will bring the total amount of demons available to 270. Obviously, fusing and negotiating with demons is going to return, but there are a couple new added wrinkles to the mechanics. The most notable one being what's called the Dyad Compendium fusion, which allows you to combine a demon in your possession with a demon saved in the Compendium. As someone who's played Persona 5 and is currently going through Persona 3 Reload, this small feature would save me a lot of time. One of the coolest game mechanics in my opinion that's coming to Vengeance are the upgraded Makasui skills. These new skills can only be used by multiple demons, and they have to be specific demons in order to get certain moves. In one of the showcases, it showed super moves from various demon groups such as angels, beasts, pixies, and also the popular Jack Frost demons. There's also a new mechanic called innate skills, which every demon will have. It'll activate automatically, and some of the skills pair well with the Makasui moves I just mentioned. As someone who's become obsessed with getting strong demons/personas when playing Atlus games, these two new skills being added will only make that worse, but in a good way. Demon haunts are new and are one-on-one conversations you can have with demons, humans too I believe, and these conversations can lead to stat boosts given to said demon. Like I said, the demons are the most important part of SMT games, and all of these new additions and gaming tweaks lets me know that Atlus knows that very well. The last reason on my list to be excited for the game is the fact that Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance will be multi-platform. Now, while most people were completely fine with how the game looked and ran on the Nintendo Switch, a lot of people weren't. And now, thankfully, Vengeance will be released on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One consoles, Xbox Series consoles, and also the Nintendo Switch. Now, if you're like me and bought the game on Switch, I believe there's a save data bonus you get from also buying Vengeance on the Switch that includes 3 demons automatically being registered in the compendium. While I didn't hate my time playing the original SMT5 on the Switch, I did sometimes wish it just looked a little bit better. I'm not a graphics snob, but if I'm going to be playing a game for 60 plus hours, I want to like what I'm looking at, you know? And now thankfully I can play it on my Steam Deck and get that higher performance without losing that portability that I still desire. But whether it's on the Steam Deck, Xbox, PS5, or the Nintendo Switch, Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance looks to be the definitive way to play this amazing game, and having it be available to as many people as possible is something I'll always appreciate, and I hope you will too when the game releases on June 14. But I'm interested to hear from you guys. Are you picking up Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance? What platform are you getting it for? Did you play the original? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more content from me covering other RPGs, here's a playlist that you can check out. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the channel. Later!